Good evening, Yarnamites, and welcome to Jane Bloodborne's House of Eyeballs, a stream where the eyes are on the inside. How's everyone doing today? Good, bad, medium? Some combination of these things? Ugh. Okay, so, where were we? We did a lot last stream actually, we did a lot more than I expected to. So we took our powerful blood sword, which swings like a normal sword and then gets covered in blood like a less normal sword. And we took it and we used it to kill not only the snake sages, the shadows of Yharnam, right down at the bottom of the Forbidden Woods, but also we had an encounter at Bergenworth with Rom, the vacuous spider, who, though not particularly hostile to us to begin with, got pretty angry when we started stabbing her with our sword. And that was an interesting boss fight, right? Like, she was a sort of prime example of a new kind of transformation that we hadn't really seen much of before. I mean, we sort of started to see it as we went into Bergenworth, but Rom was the big example, certainly, of someone who, you know, someone whose knowledge of greater truths had shifted and changed her body in sort of terrifying ways. Oh, Eschalar's just seen Infinity War. Was it Infinity Medium? I mean, all those films are very medium. That's the kind of film that money like that buys you, you know? So yeah, and killing Rom did some weird things. It made the moon.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That's a 2-month resub from Wilco Class. Thank you so much. Yes, if you've ever subscribed to this channel before, then good news. You can do that again because it's May now and the subs have refreshed. So anyone who wants to do that is welcome. Anyone who doesn't, there's no obligation. It's just a cool thing that you can do if you like. So, yeah, the moon turned blood red and we awoke at a previously locked location to us. Not only was it open to us where it wasn't before, but also big nasty monsters rocking out all over the walls and stuff. It was weird and gross and strange. And this is peculiar, clearly. What is that? Nothing if not peculiar. Maybe the most peculiar thing I've ever seen. We're going to be trying to learn a little bit more about them over the course of this stream. I don't know how much we'll come to know, but we'll certainly take some good long looks at them because they're cool as hell. I love them. Yeah. Another skeleton with a cage on its head. Now we saw one of those before, didn't we? In fact, we saw 2 of them before at the Hypogean jail when we were there last. Now, these 2 places are going to start to connect in a very interesting way. But for now, we're just going to ignore the distant sounds of babies crying on the wind and try and progress through Yahar'gul, the Unseen Village. Now, Yahar'gul, the Unseen Village is like, I guess it's very much a watershed moment for Bloodborne. It's a place where things, I would say the third act of the plot, very much, chunks, gotta look out for chunks. The third act of the plot very much kicks off as soon as you arrive at Yahar'gul. Like, the moon turns red, people made of blood start coming out of the ground, and these giant things are all over the walls, and clearly this is very much, I guess, the mask coming off of Yharnam, if you will. Like the idea that something perhaps that we have done as the interloper in this scenario has caused this shift. No longer are we, the mob weren't particularly concerned about killing us dead before, but now strange bell witches are, involved, and there's these things. Ow, rude. There's that bell ringer. Oh no. Completely earned. Oof. So another thing about Yargle, I guess an interesting mechanical parallel to the narrative watershed that we're experiencing here, is that the format of encounters very much changes at this point in the game. Because before, your tried and tested Dark Souls, Demon Souls formula has been pretty much unchanged, right? You walk into an area, you see a number of enemies set up in a way that you're going to have to think about how you're going to approach them and take them down, and then you take them down. And every victory that you achieve is, at least for as long as you're alive, permanent, right? You kill an enemy, they stay dead. And then if you pull all the enemies one at a time, eventually you will kill them all, and everything will be okay. But in this particular case, things are quite different. Not only there's a great deal of enemies, right? Way more than we expected before. So not only do we see the mob in new and exciting encounter variations, but also the ones that are made of blood will ceaselessly respawn at you until you kill the things that are spawning, which is uncommon but not unheard of for the Souls format. If any of you have played the original Dark Souls, you may remember the catacombs under the cemetery at the beginning of the game. Also has this feature where like a master unit summons a number of lesser units, and like you're incentivized to, I guess, sort of like rush them down rather than incremental progress, which characterizes a lot of other Souls level designs. And it's neat. It works very interesting here because it creates a horde of mobsters that are without number. Like they just endlessly come at you, and I think that's quite cool. It gives this area a very different feel, encounter-wise, to the previous ones. Okay. So yeah, this is what I was going to read. The Mensis ritual must be stopped, lest we all become beasts. Now, this is an interesting thing, because this note here helps us to characterize and contextualize what the hell is going on here. Because something has clearly changed, but we're not really sure what. So, if you remember eons ago now, when we first came... when we came to the Hypogean jail, we found some notes that may have seemed a little weird at the time, but maybe start to make a little bit more sense now. So the one that I'm thinking of in particular is the one that says, "Madmen toil surreptitiously in rituals to beckon the moon." And those words take on a slightly altered meaning now that we know the things that we know. Because not only do we know about madmen toiling surreptitiously in rituals to beckon the moon, we also know that the moon itself is referred to in a number of other notes as pale blood, right? Which is this enigmatic concept that we've been searching Yharnam for this entire time. Now, not only that, but a series of events, possibly in direct relation to our actions in Yharnam, have caused the moon to hang lower in the sky and significantly change colour. Indeed, to the colour of blood, which is interesting when you consider the thematic implications of blood as it pertains to beckoning the moon in the world of Yharnam, right? I'll get through there. Just get another really good shot. We get a lot of really good shots of Gothic architecture with horrible creatures clawing along the side of it. It's good as heck. I just really like the visual communication that's going on here. Like, this idea that not only does unknowable monstrosity line the walls of this place, of these ideas, the things, you know, evangelized by this Gothic architecture, but also the implication that it's been there the entire time, and your lack of understanding of the grand state of the world simply forbade you from even comprehending that it was there. It's cool. Right. There's another bell lady there. Let's get her. Another cool encounter design. You walk in, you see the bell lady, you can't get to her, so you have to run to her. She summons enemies to impede your progress. It's cool. Can I open this one? Yes. So from this, can we maybe infer that the ritual, the so-named ritual that is being toiled at by madmen to beckon the moon, is that the Mensa's ritual? And if its goal is to turn us all into beasts, like, sorry, if one of its effects is to turn us all into beasts, like, what is its goal? What are they hoping for in that case? Some real toiling going on there. I really love this. All of these, like, skeletons just arranged in, like, poses of prayer and, like, prostration. It's very cool, but to nothing. It's nice. There's a lot of yelling going on in here. How's the audio, by the way? I changed it a little bit for the Monday stream to try and filter out some of the noise, and I hoped it would do something with the fans on the PlayStation. Am I still audible over game, or shall I change something? Alright, cool. Yeah, so, like, I guess I just really like the way that this area communicates the idea that even like, there are other layers to the ideas of societal and structural monstrosity beyond the kinds of things that we've seen so far. So rather than just the kinds of things that, you know, society wishes to sweep under the rug but nonetheless acknowledges, here we have things that, even though they have clear effects that are tangible in the real world, like, for example, a space-time rift that takes you to a lecture theatre when it hits you. Like, people have no comprehension of their existence on a day-by-day basis. They just don't. It doesn't even occur to them. That's an interesting idea. Like, and the idea of having these imperceptible monsters literally clinging to the structures of Yharnam is a purposeful choice. It's a purposeful choice I really, really like. transformation attacks do just an ass load of damage. What's up? Can we attack this one, I wonder? I'm not going to, can we? More blood people. Yeah, these transformation attacks are really something. Huh? Ooh, hello. You're okay. One thing I really like, I don't know, I mean, I'm gonna give them the credit and suggest that it was intended. Side effect of the sound design in this area is that, oh Jesus. No, no, stuck on a tree. That was a bad part. Yeah, so, like, oh Jesus. It's an area where, as we've established, because the enemies respawn, you're going to be killing the same enemy lots of times, right? Which means that little sound pop where it makes a slightly bigger noise when you hit them with the killing blow, like, makes a big difference. Makes it a lot more... Oh, Jesus. Okay, luckily we've got a lot of health. It makes a big difference, right? It means that it's ever so slightly more enjoyable to just kill a basic enemy. And in a world where you have to kill basic enemies a lot more often, that's cool. So, we're going to light this lantern. We're not going to return to the hunt stream. But we are going to have a look over there. Does that remind you of anything, perhaps? Does that concentric circle staircase with a little way out to there, does that look familiar in any way? Because it should. We are totally at the Hypergean jail. And now in a way it's sort of sequesteredness from the rest of Yharnam makes a kind of sense, right? Who is that down there? I have no idea who that is. Can we see them? No. Is there like a hunter down there? Oh, I remember what that is. Okay. But yes, so, and now that we've seen those horrible creatures outside, suddenly that statue makes a little bit more sense, right? Conveniently, interestingly enough, on its first portrayal, that statue and the corresponding cage head friend was portrayed without all of its arms, you know? Like, it was perceptibly a two-armed creature, but now we know that those arms on the statue are just broken. And it's an interesting way of keeping the true extent of the monstrosity of that thing from us for a certain period of time, which I think is really interesting. It's neat. To recognize something that has been foreshadowed, that you've seen before, but that something is uniquely different and still off-putting, upsetting about it is cool. Another thing that is cool is this, like, I think I may have talked about it a bit last week, but this, like, lattice texture that we've seen quite a lot of times now, right? And now we have, I guess, a historical precedent for it, right? Okay, should be back. We're back. Sound from the chat for back. I feel like I'm saying this quite a lot recently. I've got levels, I've got audio in my ears, I've got green. It says live on the dashboard. All the signs are saying that we're back. Hey, we're back. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Hello everyone, sorry about that. I don't really know why OBS drops that out. I think it might be to do with the way I'm feeding audio to the computer so I can hear it while I'm playing. But anyway, that's enough of that. So, everyone, yes, hello. What was I talking about? I was talking about how it's really cool that that lattice design that we've seen so much of, now that we know that it is on these creatures, like, it's really cool the way that this particular version of monstrosity that we're seeing now is literally built into the architecture of Yharnam. Like, just to really hammer home that theme of that theme of structural. What was it? That theme of like structural, structurally baked in monstrosity, right? Like there it is. That's it there. That's the DNA of this creature all the way throughout the history of Yharnam. I think that's cool as heck. And yet more of these cage head folks sitting in quite ornate chairs, always facing the moon. Interesting. I wonder what that might be all about. Hey Rex Streams, welcome to the stream. I hope you enjoy what you see. Now that I've hit that lantern, I'm going to make sure I've gotten everything back this way, because I'd like to do that. It does mean we're going to chance getting hit by this again, but... Hello, goodbye. So yeah, there's some other way around here where there's a load of loot. I think it's down this way, perhaps, a chance. Or maybe it's another way. Strangely, the lady with the hammer, quite a long reach. Rude. Okay, so not out that way. The House of Eyeballs never dies, it just sleeps for a long time. What is not dead? No wait. Never mind. I thought I would remember that line from the Call of Cthulhu, but I totally don't. I think I'm just going to try and walk past that amygdala. I think you're meant to be able to go this way. So, maybe it'll just let me go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is where I was going. Cool. Useful items. I like those. Rude. Bodied from stage left, just as usual, you know? Alright, that's an item that we are interested in. Okay. Invisibility frames. Safe. Just gonna hassle this guy. Oh, he's got a long weapon. Ooh. Come on, don't do this. Come on. Yeah, for Stranger Eons, big spider-ass motherfuckers start just appearing. Oh, what? Oh, you villain. Are you gonna respawn continuously? I bet you are. Oh no, I'm dead. Okay, I'm not dead. Phew. The tiny tonitrus. Okay, we're gonna take that, and we can't get in here yet, can we? No. But that bell lady has something we want, so we're gonna try and find the way up there. Can I remember. These are their stories. Okay. Something like over here. Oh yeah, there you go. That's where we want to end up. Can we jump off here? Or are we going to fall off? Womp womp. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so we're going off here. Navigate down slightly. Can we get that and then get back up? Yeah. More cold blood. Love to have cold blood. So Rex Streams is in the chat asking why the enemies here have red glowing X-Men, and the artifacting on their skin is because they've been sort of summoned by blood rituals by these bell-ringing ladies that I've been slaying. That causes the enemies in this area to respawn indefinitely for as long as their particular bell-ringing lady continues. So this is an interesting find, right? So here, in this jail that we've established is the jail we were sent to before, we find this person, who's dressed almost scholarly, but much more sort of cleric-y, right? And on their body, we found the upper cathedral key. Now, I don't know if have we been to the door to the upper cathedral ward? I don't know, but it's a higher echelon of the cathedral ward that we haven't yet been able to access, and here we can, right? The key to the upper cathedral ward seal, the upper echelons of the healing church formed by the School of Mensis, based in the unseen village, and the choir occupying the upper cathedral ward. This key brings us one step closer to the choir. So, that's the second mention of the name Mensis that we've heard in the last 10 minutes, or 20 minutes, whatever. Right? Which is interesting. Rude. So, whatever this Mensis phenomenon, or indeed now we know school, entails, we're going to learn more about it in the upper cathedral ward, and it's going to bring us one step closer to the choir. Now, where have we heard about the choir before? I think it was on the description of the augur? Yes. So the choir that we've seen before was the choir was formed as a result of contact with the unknown, the great unknown, right? This being that we have, this being, the abandoned great one, Ebrietas. The contact with this eldritch truth at Bergenworth led to the establishment of the choir, who were dedicated to inquiring as of the cosmos. Now, chat has mentioned that we should probably mention Mensis's linguistic proximity to the phrase Menzies, although is Menzies, like, is that derived from something? I don't know. Well, I guess it's derived from the idea of menstruation, right? Like, we've talked extensively, and we'll continue to talk extensively because it just gets thicker from here, about Bloodborne's obsession with, with the idea of menstruation and the idea of birth and all its related imagery and trauma and, in this game's opinion, implicit monstrosity. Right? This game is deeply, deeply, deeply concerned with these things, and the idea of the ritual that brought the blood moon down, being called the Mensis ritual, is like very much a "do you get it" point. They're really trying to make sure they drop as many hints as possible that this is some period imagery we're working on. I just don't want to do it this way, but I must. completely owned. Wow, that was very close. Yes. So, oh yeah, the Tiny Nitrous. A unique weapon crafted by Archibald, the infamous eccentric of the Healing Church Workshop, who I believe was the same craftsperson who made the Tonitrus. Yeah, so just a miniaturized version of the regular Astonitrus. A similar Morningstar mace that utilizes quicksilver bullets. When struck on the ground, it recreates the blue sparks said to surround the dark beasts. So yeah, a superb conductor of powerful blue sparks. Again, I think that requires much too much arcane for us to use, but it's neat that they made a little miniature one. Chat is saying that the person with the mallet reminds them of King Dedede, and that King Dedede has the old blood, and I completely agree. King Dedede definitely has the old blood, and I fear it. I think I probably have enough to level up at this stage, so I'm gonna do that. Also might have enough bloodstone chunks to upgrade my sword, get some more blood tinge scaling, get some of that good damage. So, how many echoes do we need?
Very well,
I've completely forgotten. Are we at 30k? No, wow, we're almost there even without the cold blood.
Farewell, good hunter. Me.
I do not think we have enough chunks to make another upgrade though. I think it was like 8 when we last left
Welcome. What is... Very well, let me...
More blood tinge. Let's check how many chunks we need. Farewell. Yeah. Oh no. Just down on echoes again, as it happens. Cool, another upgrade, more damage. Damage. All damage all the time. Yeah. Cool. Oh, one more upgrade and we get to that good S rank blood scaling. And then things kick the whole way off. Okay. So the Hypergene Jail one is still unavailable, but the Yahogul Chapel now will take us to the right place. We can pick up where we left off. Oh, hey, you, get back here. No! You don't get to phase out. Not yet. Why am I not getting... Oh, that combo doesn't go into a transformation attack for whatever reason. Yet more chunks. Excellent. I love chunks. So we're getting a pretty standard step-by-step variation on all of the combat scenarios that we've seen before, but modified to include these endlessly respawning blood enemies, which is cool. I like it. I like the way that this one tempts you to go down the stairs and hides a gun friend. Why was he hidden even? Oh yeah, down on this lower level. This is a really neatly designed encounter. I like it. There's a lot of different angles at play here. going to ignore and gank them. So they take like a stun box and then start taking more damage from regular attacks. Oh, rude. Very rude. Whoa! That's very, very strong. Ugh, rude. Come on. Whoop. Why visceral attack when you can just, I don't know, do 1200 damage with a heavy attack? Jesus. I mean, we've still got 13 more points of blood tinge left to get, so I hope you're ready. So yeah, that's a really nice combat encounter. I like it. And here we are, back at the Hypogean jail. See, our old lantern has been quite clearly broken, such that we can't use it. But everything otherwise is much as we left it. You see, it's made to look much more like a human figure, like a grotesque human figure, but a more human figure than the things we've seen outside, which I like. And now that we're back here again, the connection to from these church-like statues to the outer, you know, and all of these images of church-like figures sort of pawing at the cosmos, if you will, start to make a little bit more sense. These are the same Nightmares, Rituals, Craven, Newborn. So yeah, like, which Newborn are we looking for? Like, now that we know that we're looking for this Newborn, and that these rituals that everyone is so, these Menzies rituals that everyone's so big on, like, what's going on? Can I just gank this one? Wow, a lot of HP. Jesus. Oh no. Oh. Owned. Oh Jesus. What happened there? Oh no. Hunters, help. I don't like hunters. Not really sure what to do about this. Really want to engage with these hunters in any meaningful way. They're just going to chase me forever, aren't they? Yeah, they definitely are. Oh, and there's more horrible beasts down here. Excellent. Good. Perfect. Just what I wanted. I want to take a look at these enemies, but I'm too busy running away from them. I'm gonna have to kill some of the ones that don't respawn, aren't I? Dead bags, man. This is a mistake. Dark Beast's still out there. Maybe we'll go say hi to him. It's an option. Goodness, I don't know what to do. Alright, let's fight the Dark Beast. I think I might be slightly over-leveled, which will make it even more embarrassing when I fail grotesquely. Defector Antal. I think I'll be okay. But let's say hi to the shock dog. What up? fought this boss. Oh, don't do this. Well, I'm dead. Shame. Got a lantern though, which is no bad thing. Yeah, we do the big damage now. Now that we've got enough, a high enough total blood level that our viscerals do like 1,000 damage, we're in a good spot. Yeah, let's have a look again.
Welcome. What is it?
Yep.
Very well. Let me. Farewell, good Hakme.
Let's have a look at what runes we got. We just got a. What's Graham up to these days? Hey, Graham.
The healing church and the blood ministers who belong to it were once guardians of the hunters in the times of the hunter Ludwig. They worked and forged weapons in their unique workshop. Today, most ministers don't recall the hunters, but they have much to offer you.
So that's the. Oh, he's still talking.
Heed the message of your forebears. Ascend to Erden Chapel.
Okay. He's still saying things from a real long time ago. But yeah, that's that connection between the healing church and the the hunters that we were talking about before. Like, clearly there is some shared history between these two things, and clearly it's centered around this chap Ludwig. But who dat? What did our Spark Hunter badge give us access to? Was it just the Tonitrus? Yeah. Oh. Stake driver. That was the that came in second for what this run weapon was going to be. Cause look at it, it's so cool, it's so anime. I love it. High damage critical attacks, difficult to use, leaves the wielder wide open. So yeah, cool. All of the weapons in this game are cool as hell. I could probably use any one of them and just have a great time. So yeah, this is interesting, right? There's a silver sword employed by Ludwig, the first hunter of the church, transformed, combines with its sheath to form a great sword. Ludwig's workshop departed from Gehrman's techniques to provide hunters with the means to hunt more terrifying beasts. Ooh, whoops, sneeze. And perhaps things still worse than beasts. Now, I don't know if you remember, but when we were at Canhurst Castle, it was mentioned that Ludwig's Holy Blade does bonus damage to the Canhurst Vilebloods. That's an interesting thing, right? That not only was Ligarius's executioners and the wheels made to break and crush the bodies of the Vilebloods, but also like Ludwig dedicated some time to researching weapons. Oh my gosh, I have been blessed with a bit. I love bits. Thank you so much. But yeah, interesting idea, right? That like, not only was Ludwig's workshop furthering the cause of the hunters to hunt things, you know, more dangerous beasts than Gammon was interested in hunting, but also like taking that idea further, taking the idea of that further to hunting these people, these Vilebloods, who by the church were obviously considered beasts, but maybe to us don't appear quite so beastly. Yeah, we're going to try and get back through this this encounter in Yahar Ghul, having beaten Shock Doggy, and we're looking for one more chunk to get to +8, which is great. I love that. Thank you, Lady of the Limericks. I love bits. I love it when people give me bits, especially when people fight over who's going to give me the most bits. That's my favourite. Capitalism in action. You right. You right. Get on the floor, dog. Oh, exactly 420 damage. Perfect. Blessed. Ugh, Will, once again, spreading their good bits all over my stream. I mean, you know, that's fine. I'm into that. But, like, you know, there's no need to fight. Everyone can give me bits. I'd love that. That would be great. More blood. Blood, blood, blood. Blood for the Bloodborne. Okay, so we are going to once again ignore this encounter because I don't like it. I don't want to engage with it. Get away from me. We are... Because there's something we can do here. I don't think it starts with us going this way, unfortunately. Oh god! Okay, yeah, so those statues that we saw on the way down from the Yahar Ghul lantern, maybe not just fictional works. Here they fucking are. These nightmare creatures. So we are gonna get the whole heck out of here. Cause level design. It's been a while since we had a standard Bloodborne Dark Souls-y shortcut, and here it is. We know exactly where it was, so it was easy for us to come find it. And find it we have. What up? Rude. I wish you wouldn't. That's not another chunk, is it? No. Oh, the Iron Yahar Ghul helm, so we can blend in with the locals. So yeah, as we descend further towards the bottom of Yahar Ghul, and I guess the climax of this this sort of zone, I guess I want you to think about like what the things that we know about the power structures of play in Yharnam and the sort of I guess the symbolism and ideas that have come to surround the moon, beckoning the moon, and you know these madmen who might toil surreptitiously. Like, what do they stand to gain? What do they seek to gain by performing this ritual? What's happening here? You know, because we don't know yet, but we can certainly think about it, and that's the kind of thing that we do here. We think about these things. Yeah. So I guess we'll get back to it. Having taken the shortcut up, we can now take it back down, and take it down we shall. curious. Because I must have stepped up on my way out. Nice lift. Looks cool. Little hole in that window there that we're probably going to be making use of at some point. Some bubbling. 180 damage, probably only a couple more levels before the first 1k visceral attack. Getting a lot of like ambient scrabbling noises from enemies. I can't. Ah, it's that thing. Okay, that's a thing we can actually probably have quite an interesting conversation about. So let's go down and have a look. So the first thing I guess that I want to say about this design is it's not by accident that we find these things in exactly the same places as we found the pigs the first time through the Hypergean jail, right? Like, now that we're seeing this thing, and note that this looks exactly like the statues in the place that we just came from, but instead of being shrouded by like a tarpaulin or fabric type deal, it's just a whole mass of flesh and skulls, just, you know, sort of plant pot. And like, this is a really interesting thing, right? Because there's one key thing that this design wants to call to mind is obviously this abundance of skulls, way more skulls than anyone could ever really need, but also these long spindly arms. Now, the first thing that you might think of when we see those long spindly arms is those creatures. There's one right there for me to show you. Right? They've got long spindly arms and they're uniquely monstrous in an interesting kind of way, and this kind of parallels that, right? Not only that, however, it looks remarkably like the sewer-laden Yharnam citizens that we saw right back in episode 1. And this, again, is not on purpose, not by accident, right? Like, this is a very clear and specific image that this enemy design is trying to make you think about. And it's the idea that it ties into these this mass of skulls that makes up the bulk of this enemy. And it's this idea that this is actually not one person, but like a gestalt of many, many people. And the idea that it's trying to convey here is that like this is an amalgamation of many, many dead Yharnamites, or many, many forsaken Yharnamites, I guess. Ooh, 2 chunks. That's another upgrade. And like, this is something that's moving. I didn't know that. Ooh, okay. I didn't even know that. Ah, Jesus! I deserve that. Very good. Ooh, I'm just dead, huh? Yikes. That's pretty intense. But yeah, like that is pretty like it's like a, I guess its position in these spawn points that like place it in the same place as the livestock or wildlife of Yharnam, I guess, is like an intentional sort of parallel to. Oh, we don't want to respawn here, do we? Let's go to the lantern we want to respawn at, and also do some admin briefly. But yeah, it's like almost like a weaponization of the history of Yharnam against you. Like, here is this group entity of many, many Yharnamites, just made vicious and horrible, I guess. Monstrous, if you will. But monstrous in monstrous in like unison, I guess, cobbled together from the sort of separate monstrosity of multiple people and or things, which is like a new kind of, I guess, a new kind of monstrous community that we haven't really seen before. Yes, so up to +8, up to +6, S-type scaling, which is great. Awesome, very good. Is there any better blood gems we could have? Let's find out. So this one is... okay. So this is physical attack up, blood tinge scaling, and rapid poison. We don't really want strength scaling, do we? We don't give a crap about that. And this is the blood tinge scaling, which we do like. Gives us quite a bit of damage. Yeah, I think we're probably just going to leave these. Yeah, I'm just going to leave these. And take a note of, we need 8 chunks to get to +8. Right. Or +9 even. Yeah, 8 chunks to get to +9. So yeah, this idea of, I guess, weaponizing and making monstrous the forgotten downtrodden of Yana. You know, this like this box of hate and skulls and limbs. Not by accident. We are indeed all friends in the corpse box, as Alessa has said. Oh, that's a hole. Oh no. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. Get in that hole, you coward. We're gonna kill you while we wait for this lift, because you probably dropped bullets, which we like. Man, we do. Oh no, you don't drop bullets. Cowardice. Pure cowardice. Yeah, we're doing just a bunch of damage now, huh? Something I will later argue is thematically appropriate, but for now, I won't. Well, that was weird. That was some fucking smooth criminal shit right there. Sort of tweaking across the floor out of the way of the attack. Awesome. I love it. You. And you. Oh, so close. Yeah, our blood attacks have started to do noticeably more than our non-blood attacks, which is nice. Cool and good. Okay, we're gonna try not to get owned by this stagecoach blob again. How can we activate it? Not like that. Oh, hello. Got your attention. Oh, come on! Forgot that I had to build on that one. Whoops. you'd like me to walk more slowly outside of fights? I can see that, yeah. I respect that. I'm going to try and do that a bit more. Yeah, I guess I'm running by default because I've been through these areas quite a lot myself, but I can totally see the want for an appreciation of a less frenetic camera outside of combat. That's fair. I will take that on board. I guess I also run by default because I'm conscientious of the fact that, like, there's a chance... Oh, I'm dead. Am I dead? I think I'm dead. I am one with the council. No, that just doesn't do very much damage. Okay, fair enough. Oh, rude. Unbelievably rude. Oh my gosh, it's Funkstar. Hey Funkstar. What's up? Will is in the chat doubting that the phrase more skulls than anyone could ever reasonably need makes sense in and of itself, and I'm going to suggest that Warhammer having more skulls than it could reasonably need is the point, right? It being unreasonable is the idea. I kind of like that thrust, actually. Like, it doesn't technically combo into these moves, but it starts up so quickly that I might use it more. Time, wow. Ugh. Bullets. Is that one gonna be in there again? Ugh. God damn. Oh cool, we can get a transform attack out of roll. That's good. That's worth knowing. That's one of these pesky skull friends got now blood echoes. No, here they are. Excellent. In that case, do we want to go over there? Don't know that we do. No, I think we're just going to make some more level progress, as is our thing. Having talked about the weaponized history, what is that? Ooh, there's a weird glowing sound coming off this skeleton. Interesting. Interesting. So yeah, I guess like the thing about Yahar'gul is that we're being shown the results of this Mensis ritual, and like this is actually a very subtle callback. Well, not a lot about this. Not a lot about this image is very subtle, but ow. Not a lot about this image is very subtle, but this is a very subtle callback to the fact that at the Hypogean jail, we were locked away. We were taken there by a bagman, right? And the thing about that is that though we were kidnapped, though we were taken from the cathedral ward, getting stuffed by that hitbox. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, though we were taken by a bagman, like we were put into a jail cell, we found our way out, we killed the bagmans and we escaped. The thing is, we were never really given an explanation why these people were being taken. We also found Adela the nun having been taken at this jail, and like there were a lot of like bodies and like, you know, skeletons, but also like empty jail cells. Like we had a whole jail with a whole system and network of people being taken to go into it, and no real explanation for why. And this starts to explain why. These people who were being taken to the jail, it's quite possible that they were taken for this ritual, right? This ritual to beckon the moon. Clearly it has required no small amount of human sacrifice, willing or otherwise. Behold, the pale blood sky. Ooh, can we avoid kiting these enemies? Avoid aggroing these enemies even? Or does one of them come from down there? Let's find out, I guess. Because I want to talk about the things that we saw in here. Oh, hello. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to try our absolute best to avoid aggroing you, but I think we can manage it. So, let's have a look at this thing. Because remember, the thing about the Mensis ritual is it said that we would all become beasts, and this thing is quite clearly the same wireframe as a creature we've already seen in this game. The werewolf-like beasts of Yharnam that we've seen so much of. Like, this is clearly one of those, but, well, not as we might have known them. Like, him leggy slightly too much, you know? And this is a line of inquiry that we're gonna see interrogated a great deal over the last few hours of Bloodborne, which we are actually in now, by the way. Is like the fact that, hey, you thought you had monsters? You haven't seen shit. Come on. Things that we previously considered beasts become just unspeakably horrible. Like, look at this thing. It doesn't have any skin. It doesn't have any skin, and it's got just human-ass legs growing off of its legs. Like, what? Its jaw has just come to encompass its entire body. Like, that's a really cool visual thing, and you know, it's not uncommon among monster designs. Is how the teeth of the jaw become the ribs. It's really cool. I like it. Reminds me of the creature design from Resident Evil 2. I like it a lot. But yeah, like. So yeah, growing monstrosity among already familiar monstrosity is this idea that we're going to see explored to some length. Now, there's nothing actually else for us in this particular room. But in keeping with our idea that the jail was being, people were being kept in the jail so they could be farmed off onto these rituals. Like, here's the proof. These cells are pretty much empty now. Well, not the proof, but I guess the evidence. So we're going to walk real slow to avoid aggroing this hunter as we try and get down to the lower level. You see, there's another one. Another leggy boy. And I guess, like, this is the kind of thing that you might sort of be given to wonder, like, what it implies, I guess. Because, like, you know, we've already seen the depths of, like, when we read the note saying that the Mensis ritual was going to make us all, oh, Jesus, the Mensis ritual was going to make us all into beasts, like, it seemed weird, right? Because we've seen beastliness before, but clearly, oh, Jesus. Jesus. I've done that twice now. Can you not? What? Die. There we go. Yeah, like this is interesting, right? Because the implications of beastliness becoming beastly in a new and terrifying way is like cool and interesting. I dig it. These are just the same. Yeah, see? Callback. Because I guess the other thing about the Hypogean jail is it's very possible that you've never been here when you first arrive here, as it's during the Blood Moon. Like if you don't get killed and captured by a bagman, you just never come here. You have no reason to. No method. It's neat. I like it. I've just remembered that there's a load of stuff back in the Cathedral Ward that has updated since we were there last. How many of those do we have now? 5. We need 8. Chat is talking about Neil Blomkamp's shorts, and I have not seen any of those yet. I really want to. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I really wanted to see those when they came out. I had the means to, I just haven't yet. I haven't gotten around to it. Are they good? I hope so. I'll probably watch them anyway. We've probably got another level up in us, haven't we? Yeah. Womp. Pretty good is what I'm looking for from those, I think. Like, you know, shorts, interesting ideas, neat visual effects. So yeah, I think probably the roadmap for the rest of the stream is I'm going to kill this area boss if I can, and then I'm going to go have a poodle back around the Cathedral Ward and Yharnam, and we're going to see how Yharnam has fared in our absence. A fairly lengthy absence. It's been a while since we've been down old central Yharnam town. Let's use 2 of these. How much is 2? Nothing. In that case, we won't use the 3rd. We'll just resume as we were. So that's an interesting thing, right? I didn't actually read the Lunarium Key's description when we got it, but like the idea that Master Willem, the gentleman in the rocking chair with the coral growing out of his back, in his final years intentionally sequestered himself to the Lunarium, keeping his secret in the lake. Now the idea that he was keeping Ron as a secret from the rest of the world is interesting, right? Because it was killing her that brought down the Blood Moon, triggered that vision, and probably, like, well, we're given to understand, at least had played some role in setting this whole ritual into motion, right? Was he, like, trying to prevent that by keeping Rom hidden away? Perhaps? Who can say? Perhaps in the fullness of time, we can say. But right now, we have some area to progress through. What are we doing for... okay. What? Come on! No force on Earth will prevent this man from tweaking across the floor. This is kind of funny. see how much damage the blood sword is doing now. Oh hey, that has a follow-up charged fierce. I did not know that. That's cool. Hey, what's over here? Wow, ambitious. Oh, that's it, huh? Must have already gotten what was here. See, exact same like enemy placement as the pigs that we found before. So what this does is it brings back significance to these bodies that we found here before, right? All facing towards what we now see as the moon, with their skulls filled with the burden of insight. Like suddenly it all makes a bit more sense. Excuse me, you get invincibility frames from that? Rude. So yeah, like, they were either witnesses to... It gives us the idea that they were either witnesses to or, like, participants in this grand ritual. But what is it beckoning? What is their goal in beckoning the moon? What's going on? More bells. Let's deal with that if we can. Oh yeah, and they get a blasted projectile attack, don't they? 8. Can I? No? Yes, okay. Blood kicking around these parts. Have I gone the right way? I hope so. I have not gone the right way. Well, here we are. Oh, God damn it. Ah, no, no. Heavens. This has gotten out of hand. A bit. Look at this. Ooh. Okay, what I'm going to do is secure this area so we can come back to it, and then I will come back to it and we'll have a chat about it, because it's super cool. Okay, not that way, this way. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Wait, was I looking for this? Could I have not just done this the whole time? No, I need to do it once, don't I? Because shortcuts within shortcuts. We found another one. I'm sorry, but... No. Oof, that was close. We're just to 7 chunks now. But yeah, this turns out to be a shortcut to the lift, basically. 8 chunks, we got there, I think. So what that means is we're gonna finish off the enemies here, probably with another Bold Hunter's Mark, because quite near the end of the game now. Yeah, see, here, this is that broken window we saw earlier. Ta-da, level design. We don't need to use a mark, we can just do this. Device not currently operable because we can use the lift. So yeah. This is a return to that Yarnum-like verticality, folded space I was super into before, and it's like it's a sort of a benefit of the more, relatively speaking, metropolitan design of this area. Like, it means that you get access to these tall, winding buildings that are really easy to put like lifts into, for example, or that multi-level staircase system that we saw before. It's cool. I dig it. Okay, we're gonna scoot on home. Get our weapon to +9. Oof, the damage. Use the rest of the cold blood, I think. I think that gets us to where we want to go. Right. Well, that brings us to like 21k, which is not quite enough. So we're just gonna level up our weapon. Womp womp. Da, 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 da. So yeah, the damage, it just keeps coming. We're at 29 blood tinge, cool. And using both of these. Okay, cool. And selling our twin bloodstone shards isn't really going to get us anywhere. No. Maybe? Let's have a look, shall we? So that gets us to 2100. Selling these gets us to 2400, 2700. This should be enough, right?
Welcome. What is? Very well. Let.
Oh, 2800. Okay, 28,000 even, not 100. I think we can probably make that with our other chalice loot. Yeah. Right. Right.
Welcome. What is? Very well. Let me.
Yeah. 30 blood tinge. Which sets us on track to have exactly 40 by the time we get to level 80, which is great.
Farewell. May you.
May you find your worth in the waking world, doll. May you find yours. So, back to Yargul Unseen Village. I'm going to take that shortcut to get us slightly closer to the area boss. Hooray! Ooh. Oh, 200 damage in one strike. It's good. Whoa. Here she come. Jane Bloodborne. Right, yeah, so we need to go on the way down, or we don't actually need to, but it helps. So we can roll out like that. And then we can access that bath. Okay, so now I'm gonna kill the enemies around here so we can try and have a look at a bit of this architecture that I like so much. Because it's very, very good. Oh, and there's that bell lady that we hate so much. Oh, no transformation attack. Still a lot of ominous chanting, which I'm not keen on. Okay, so this sort of neat roadway with its overgrown lampposts all the way down there, that's the area boss. So we're going to clean up. Wow, it's really loud. What the hell? The whispering. We're going to see how much our heavily charged fierce does. Oh, it's a lot. Oh my gosh, it's Rose! Hey Rose! Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Jane Bloodborne's House of Eyeballs. Get away, get away. Jeez. The way they swell before that's super cool. It's gross. Ow. Oh, hey, another one. Oh, all too many now. And I'm dead. Plomp, plomp. Yeah, Jane does look hella. She's hella cool. She is hella in every sense of the word. She's hella fly, she's hella regal, she's got hella damage. Just hella. Ugh, no range. None whatsoever. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? This time maybe pulling slightly fewer of those enemies all at once. Oh, rude. We do the big damage now. None of that small time damage, none of that weak ass damage. The big damage. Would it be better for us to go the other way in this particular circumstance? We'd pull more enemies going that way. I think we just try and pull fewer of them at once. Okay, I'm gonna try and not miss our kill window on this one. We need to. For some reason, it gets invincibility frames while it's on the floor, despite us not getting the. Gosh dang! We did it again. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, it's Punch Nazis. Hey, Punch Nazis. We're getting owned by skulls, as is our want. Getting pretty close to the boss room. Oh, that's so rude. I hate that that does that. Just infinity damage. Jeez. What is it with Bloodborne and skulls? What indeed? What indeed, Rose? Who can say? Can we ever truly know why Bloodborne likes skulls so much? Okay, I might try rather than... Oh, goddamn. Rather than trying and failing to kill those skull time friends, I might try instead to talk about how cool the architecture is while running past it, trying not to die. Oh, punch Nazis, did you not get the memo? We're at 30 blood tinge now. Our bullets do the big bad damage. What? What? Get up. Yeah, that's right. Damage is something we have ready and able access to at pretty much all times now. Like, I don't know if you saw earlier, but our fully transformed Fierce at full charge does like 1200 damage. Okay, so we're definitely gonna kill this lady because she's mean. Then we're gonna get big damage on this guy. What up? Damage. Yeah, Jane's looking good. Like, Jane's always looking good. This is her one goal is to she's slaying in every possible department. That's her goal in life. Like, she came to Yharnam to slay, and slay she shall. Okay, so actually, rather than waste my time killing these, or getting killed by these girlfriends, I should say, we're going to use the monocular to take a look at all of this architecture. So the thing that I noticed and made a note to point out is that the architecture here has, well, there are people on the walls. And not just this one, like, they're everywhere. All over the place. Right? Like, this isn't like just sort of the kind of ostentatious decor that we're super used to. This is like a mass grave, you know? This is like, there's a lot happening here. And they're trying to crawl out of the valley, I guess, of this road leading to this particular point here, and like, whoa, damn. Especially with the context of all of these kidnapped people taken to the jail, like, kind of and like, yeah, these people are clearly trying to escape, right? Like, what is that? I keep tapping into this weird, like, is it the sounds of the damned that we're hearing? Like, I can't tell. I can't tell. Yeah, but whoa, like, this is a grim image, you know? What fate befell the downtrodden of Yahar'gul? Like, to be used in this clearly brutal ritual that did this to them, that rendered this population of people mere, like, wall decorations, literally, like, burned them into the stone. Like, just like this visual metaphor that we've been seeing so much of these days, is that these people have been literally, like, baked into the walls, you know? Like, they've become the structure upon which the rest of Yharnam, or indeed in this case Yahar'gul, the rest of Yahar'gul, like, it just exists without acknowledgement or consideration of them. These people have been crushed by the march of progress. Progress towards what we're about to find. Who's this? Defector Antal. Ah, we're good. We haven't summoned just yet. And we're going to see if we can continue that streak. So, what does the moon have in store for us now, one wonders? Bell ringers. Love them. This is the one Reborn, and as the camera's juxtaposition showed us, clearly too ugly to live. So we're going to do our best to kill it ASAP, put it out of its misery, save ourselves from just sort of solve this look gradient that we're experiencing here, you know? Jane Bloodborne cannot coexist with something so gruesome. Oh no, that's gone really badly. Well, I'm dead. So, yeah, the thing about this fight is the bell ringers sit on the walls and they cast nasty magic spells that we hate. And, we're gonna have to kill them before we can do the rest of it. So, yeah, the One Reborn is a really interesting, like, visual cocktail, I guess, because the things at play within its design are, like, they are an early intersection of a lot of the ideas that Bloodborne has been experimenting with up until this point, but has yet to really combine in any satisfying way for us. And that begins with the One Reborn and continues extensively. So, the One Reborn, as I'm sure you all saw, emerged as a sort of congealed mass of just the worst flesh and viscera, but it did so from this this sort of this void in the middle of nowhere, like this portal, I guess it could be, and like these are all like important visual symbols that we should. Ooh, that was close. Important visual symbols that we should be like thinking about as we encounter it and we consider its implications in the world, right? Like, basically, like this portal, as we saw, if you were paying attention, you could see that there was like a glimpse of a starry sky in there, an almost sort of cosmic window, I guess. And what the One Reborn really represents to me is it's this like has been mentioned on the various item descriptions that we found, is the beginning of this inquiry into the cosmos. It's the manifestation of what lies beyond, but it represents humanity's inability to comprehend it except on its own terms, and it represents, like, it's very clear, deeply intense monstrosity represents the fact that, like, trying to reconcile these ideas, trying to bring them down to earth, if you will, often has quite upsetting results. Often trying to contextualize these elder truths in a human context is, like, bad for them and for you. Oh, we can get them 2 strikes, that's really good. Did we get that one? Oh, hello. See ya, Punch Nazis, thanks for coming down. due to our extensive knowledge of the nature of the cosmos, indicated in the top right corner, we might be particularly vulnerable to this boss's attacks, but no matter. We'll get over it. We'll find another life later. Yeah, this boss makes just deeply horrible noises. Big arcane lost. Okay, we got vials, so we'll just So this boss to me, I guess, it represents the truths of the universe, like the truths of what people are trying to understand, like particularly the scholars of the world are trying to understand about the cosmos, like basically it's getting quite cool. But yeah, it represents the congealed monstrosity of those truths and the inability to reconcile with them in a satisfying way. Jeez, not doing very much damage. Frame rate's going south. Come on. Jesus. Just an absurd amount of damage. Oh, this thing's turning way too fast. Come on. Well. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That was a pretty cool showing. After all my bragging about damage, we did pretty unpleasant damage to that thing. And it did pretty strong damage to us. Oh dear. I could get different armor, but I don't know. First of all, that would be forsaking my absolutely killer look, which is doing a great deal for me. But, it's the damage that's the problem. Obviously, taking damage is a problem too, but dealing it is my primary concern here. That is the thing that is worrying me the most. Peculiar. Luckily our run to the boss is fairly uneventful, so that's good. Okay. Apart from the usual monster boss strategy of attacking its back legs, I'm not really sure to what depth we can strategize this boss. I'll have to do, if this doesn't go well again, I'll have to do some more off-stream training montage. Down. Well, this is going better. Well, that's not nothing. That friend up there, that's the one doing all the spell casting. I'm pretty sure that attack will kill us instantly, regardless of what we do without it. Yeah, he's the one doing all the big nasty arcane spells that are giving us such a rough time. But while he's not visibly casting spells, I think we can try and get those staggers off. It's going to do more damage if I hit this. This boss has a lot of lock-on zones. And it was easy too. More like the nun reborn. Because there's none of you. Oof. That went better. Fun fact, I have done this boss before without killing all of the lantern ladies and been killed immediately upon finishing the boss fight by a remaining lantern lady. That is a thing that has happened to me before. And we got a yellow backbone. Hooray! Beckons ungodly forces. Normally terrifying prey. Normally terrifying things, but worthy prey for a special hunt. So yeah, we are gonna light this lamp. And before we go and do that, I'm gonna go back to the Hunter's Dream and just spend all of these echoes that we've got. Just because we've got so many of them. I'm gonna do this. There'll be a little plot vignette where we advance the plot, and then I'll probably call it, because we've done good work today.
Welcome. What is very well. Let
Whoop whoop. Yes.
farewell, good mate.
So, the Advent Plaza. Clearly the advent of some kind of moon event. Some kind of Menzies ritual. So yeah, good job us. We managed to successfully kill the physical manifestation of humanity's inability to understand the true extent of the terrors of the cosmos. Well done, everyone. And, well. Clearly, there were a lot of people here who were interested in keeping whatever was in their heads, and clearly, this is the center of this ritual, right? Like, wow. I love this. This is peak heavy metal album cover. God, it looks good. Look at all these friends, all these caged friends. This one's looking almost preserved. And do we recognize that brogue from somewhere? Why? This one appears to be a Bergenworth scholar. Let's inspect this mummy, shall we? And we're back in the lecture building. Interesting that happened. But now, we're on the top floor. Before we were down in there, in the dumps, but now we're up here, in the not dumps. And look, there are scholars on the walking the hallways. What could it mean? What could it all mean? Why would inspecting the mummy of a Bergenworth scholar with a cage on their head take us to this this lecture building that we've been to before, by the way, brought here by an amygdala, or by one of those horrible arm creatures. Whoa, that animation. It's so good. I love it. These things, like a study in gross momentum and smear frames. Wow, big damage. Always turn so your back faces your opponent before you sheath your blade. Sedatives to calm the nerves. Those who delve into the arcane fall all too easily to madness, and the thick human blood serves to calm the frayed nerves of these inquisitive minds. Naturally, this often leads to a reliance on blood administration. So that's kind of wild. That there you are. Learning about the cosmos, like, as we know, it shifts and changes you, but like the suggested remedy to this shifting and changing is to drink human blood, to remind yourself of the base, like what you consider the base essence of humanity. That's interesting, right? It sort of feeds into this idea that we've explored before, that exploring the cosmos, growing to understand the cosmos, changes you away from the base of humanity. It makes you something new, something different, something monstrous, but maybe something better? Who knows? One day we will know, but it will not be tonight, because that is the end of this episode of Jane Bloodborne's House of Eyeballs. Thank you everyone who came down. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for all of this good love in the chat. It's been a lot of fun, as ever. Today we killed the one Reborn, we killed the shock doggy that we'd left alone for so long, and we just had a grand old time. So, Join us next time when we will explore this lecture building and consider its implications for the wider world of Yharnam. We'll probably go back to Yharnam proper and see what's happened while we've been gone, because some things will have changed. But for now, that's it from me, and I will see you on Monday, probably for another episode of Green Chill Zone. So thank you all for coming, and I'll see you all next time.